So, prepper is someone who prepares for disasters, emergencies, and pretty much, pandemics like this. We see bad outcomes in the future and react to it by preparing for that, whatever it might be. These are the things that we line ourselves up for so that we don't get caught with our pants down. It's like getting car insurance. You know you're going to get into an accident at some point in time. So what do? You get car insurance. Depends on your building structure. For example, my parents live in a 32-story building. I think there's something like 200 units in it, right? So with a building that big and that many units, you're running into too many transients. Plus, you're running into people who are visiting them. That's too much of an exposure. When you get home, you got to wash your hands a dozen times. You got to disinfect the doorknobs and make sure you know that you didn't infect it. So there's too many variables with buildings that big. It's why my parents left the city and went to PA. If you live in a home, you're in the best case scenario because it's your home. You know who is coming in and out. You know that once you wipe down the surfaces, you're fine. So, I mean, listen, for a 2-week lockdown, the necessities are food and water. I mean, and your own personal medical supplies. That's all you're going to need. And you should only buy foods you're going to eat, right? Just because Spam's on sale doesn't mean you should buy that crap. In my pantry, I have a lot of canned goods. I have Chef Boyardee, which I grew up on. It's the only reason why I still eat it. Tuna fish, corned beef hash, canned beans, tomato sauce to make, like pasta and red sauce stuff, dried cereal, and meats that are in the freezer, but I vacuum seal the meats so that they last longer. You get probably almost a year out of a lot of it if you vacuum seal it. If you have kids, make sure you have an abundant amount of snacks so that they can eat 3 times a day. So when you calculate how much food you should have, you should calculate 3 meals a day for 15 days. And then you take, and me personally, you take 1 meal out. So now you extended your 15 days to something like, 22 days or something like that. So you should ration off your food, but you shouldn't ration off your water. Rationing off water is bad because you can put yourself in a dehydrated state. Everyone should have 2 gallons of water per person per day, because one of those gallons are going to be used to keeping yourself clean. The other gallons for you to drink. If you have pets and you have to prepare for a lockdown, for example, with my dog, I'm buying bags of food each week. They're 50 pounds a bag, but he should be good a month a bag. So I'm going to buy him 2 more bags, and hopefully this thing passes in 3. If not, he's going to be eating human food. And not humans, but like, our stuff we have stored away. There's no such thing as going overboard with stocking your pantry, right? So you can, you can go bananas all you want, but it also helps because if you want to, give your neighbor food or something like that, you can. The anxiety of getting sick, the anxiety of staying in the apartment for days on end, you could break that monotony with, entertainment. This is not 1918, right? This is 2020. So we have technology to keep us busy. We have Netflix and the rest of those to keep us busy. If the power goes out, that's a different ballgame altogether. With that, I would venture to say buy a couple board games, just in case you get tired of TV, and then talking. If you have someone to talk to, if you live alone, draw a face on the wall or talk to that. But, if you live alone, then you're going to have to do a lot of texting and phone calls. If not, then talk to whoever you're in the house with. That helps. Do some workouts, push-ups, air squats. If you have a pull-up bar, do that. Jump rope if you have one. If you have a yoga mat, do some yoga. I don't do that crap, but I hear it works. As far as my home gym goes, I don't have one. What I do have is I collect programs online to do home workouts. You could use water jugs, because they're 8 pounds, right? So if you put them on a rope and a stick, you could curl that, There's different little crude things you can do. A lockdown is important in this situation because of how fast the virus spreads. But if you go against the quarantine rules or the lockdown rules, you're helping the virus spread, right? So you're taking a person who's sick, introducing them to someone healthy, and getting them sick for what? Right? For your own personal gains or whatever it is. History has taught us that quarantine works.